Alright, seem to be back online. Alright, sorry for that interruption. I was having some router problems on my end. Okay. Let's just pretend that the last 10 minutes didn't happen. Right. Gonna do an original song from fall 2014, I think. It's called Won't Grow Here. Based on a short story that I wrote way back when I was getting my first degree in English, and kind of a weird story about a group of people who are under siege in a castle, and they can't leave, and it goes on for years and years and years, and it's narrated by some kids who are growing up during the siege. Thought it might be a weird kind of appropriate song for our current situation. I was still young when I drove the plow. Her hair was like fire when we took our vows. Fungus in spring, apples in the fall, tomatoes in summer, and home again. Oh. And I made a bed on pallet on the straw, raised 4 walls and a son and then 1 more. Violets in spring, apples in the fall, tomatoes in summer, and home again. Oh. I pulled the cart straight on the road, and I built a fine fire from the coal, and we sold our hearts, but desire won't grow here, and we burn like gold in the field. Fall like leaves from the trees. You can talk as you please, but no one talks of peace. And whiskey and bread, apples in the fall, tomatoes in summer, and home again. Oh. And I pulled the cart straight on the road, and I built a fine from the cold, and we sold our hearts, but desire won't grow here, and we burn like gold in the fields. And I pulled the cart straight on the road, and I built a fine fire from the coal, and we sold our hearts, but desire won't grow here, and we burn like gold in the fields. And hard in the bone, hard in the marrow, make this body a shield from an arrow. Hard in the bone, hard in the marrow, make this body a shield from an arrow. By the ironic request for Freebird, I can tell that the only people who made a request have shown up. My mother-in-law made a request for a Richard Thompson song, so unfortunately it was a Richard Thompson song that I have heard twice and never played, so I am not unfortunately going to attempt that today. It's called she requested Al Bowley's In Heaven, which is a very cool song with a very difficult guitar solo and some interesting chords. and a tune that I can remember the chorus pretty well, but the verse just won't stick in my head. So I offered some alternatives, and she chose Beeswing. So I'm going to do the one that I know. I was 19 when I came to town. They called it the summer of love. They were burning babies, burning flags, the hawks against the doves. And I took a job in the steamy down on Cauldron Street, and I fell in love with a laundry girl who was working next to me. Well, she was a rare thing, fine as a bee's wing, so fine a breath of wind might blow her away. And she was a lost child, she was a running wild. She said, as long as there's no price on love, I'll stay. And you wouldn't want me any other way. Brown hair zigzag around her face and a look of half surprise, like a fox caught in the headlights. There was animal in her eyes. And she said, oh man, you foolish man, I'm not the factory kind. If you don't take me away from here, I'll surely lose my mind. Well, she was a rare thing, fine as a bee's wing, so fine I feared I might crush her where she lay. She was a lost child, she was a running wild. She said, as long as there's no price on love, I'll stay. And you wouldn't want me any other way. Busked around the market towns and picked fruit down in Kent, and we could tinker lamps and pots and knives wherever we went. And I thought that we might settle down and get a few acres dug, fire burning on the hearth and babies on the rug. But she said, oh man, you stupid man, that surely sounds like hell. You might be lord of half the world, but you'll not own me as well. Well, she was a rare thing, fine as a bee's wing, so fine a breath of wind might blow her away. And she was a lost child, she was a running wild. She said, as long as there's no price on love, I'll stay. And you wouldn't want me any other way. Camping down the Gower one time, and the work was pretty good. And she thought we shouldn't wait for the frost, and I thought maybe we should. We were drinking more in those days, and tempers reached a pitch. And like a fool, I let her roam with the rambling itch. Well, she was a rare thing. Last I heard, she was sleeping hard down on the Derby beat. White horse in her hip pocket and a wolfhound at her feet. And I heard she even married once a man named Romney Brown, but even a gypsy caravan was too much settling down. And I hear her flowers faded now, hard weather and hard booze, but I guess that's just the price you pay for the chains that you refuse. Well, she was a rare thing, fine as a bee's wing, and I miss her more than ever words could say. And if I could just taste all of her wildness now, if I could hold her in my arms today, well, I wouldn't want her any other way. I will do some more covers today. I actually got my first copyright. It's not a strike. It's just a little thing where they identify content in your videos, which is actually really cool to me. That they can take a 1 hour video and just find the cover I did and identify it. It does end up putting some ads on my videos, and I've worked pretty hard to never do anything commercial because I suck at selling things, but it was kind of interesting that I have a general interest in machine learning and AI, so it was kind of interesting to actually see it put into practice on some audio stuff. But oh, thanks. All right, let's do another original song. I'm gonna do one from February album writing month from this year. I had to skip the last couple years while I was in school. I was just too busy, but took a little bit of time off work this year to go do some fun things. So let's see. This is a song called The Will to Survive, and I actually wrote this about being an artist. I had some friends who we were in a chat room talking, and they were all talking about art, and one thing that I worry about as a guitarist is that I could hurt my hands, which is also something that that my friends who are visual artists have to worry about. But it's I mean, this song came out of that, and it's not really about that, but there is sort of this weird amount of fear sometimes that can just consume your life, and the habit of fear, which is the title of it, comes from a line in 100 Years of Solitude, when the last child of Colonel Buendia shows up at his, I guess, great-grandchildren's house, and they of course have no idea who he is, but he's immensely old, and Marquez says that the only thing that has kept him alive is not the will to survive, but just the habit of fear. And I thought that was just such a great line. So I got like 3 or 4 songs out of rereading 100 Years of Solitude this year. So good book. You were hunted from birth, a deer in the throng, a lion without a pride. What keeps you alive is not the will to survive, or the will to be free. It keeps your mind clear. The from the nest, break free from the herd, hunger and thirst in the dust. Somehow we find from the last to the first what we can and what we must. What keeps you alive is not the will to survive or the will to be free. Keeps your mind clear. Habit of fear. Habit of fear. Let's do another one from fall of this year. This is I had never written a lullaby, so I decided to write this one. My dad really likes the chorus to this one. In fact, he likes it so much that I think I will take a moment to tune my guitar. And I can't do this silently like I can when I'm playing live. So we're just gonna have to put up with the tuning song for a moment. I hope everyone's doing well. I hope no one is going completely insane. Quarantine is just a word for my normal lifestyle, so I lucked out. But I definitely missed playing. I definitely miss playing with the band, and while I certainly will not miss all the horrible stuff that has happened, I have at least, I will at least say that I have enjoyed the quiet, especially early on in this, but obviously that the bad far outweighs any good that comes out of that. But you know, silver linings. Okay. It's called Someone Who Loves You. Or Go to Sleep, My Love. I forget. I didn't put the title on the actual song, so since I haven't released it, I can call it whatever I want. It's hard at the bottom, lay your head on my arm, while I hum to a memory we had. Tune out the traffic and the sound of alarms. I'll hum you this lullaby instead. Go to sleep, my love, dream of silver and gold, and of someone who loves you to the ends of the world. It's the first dew of summer on the side of your cheek. It's never winter in dreams. There's the cries of the seagulls at the edge of the sea as you're drifting away down the stream. Go to sleep, my love, dream of silver and gold, I'm someone who loves you to the ends of the world. That's the light from the lighthouse. Please don't open your eyes. That's the shush of the wind on the sand. While someone still loves you, you won't ever need to cry. So lay down to sleep in their hands. Go to sleep, my love. Dream of silver and gold, and of someone who loves you to the ends of the world. Go to sleep, my love. Dream of silver and gold, and of someone who loves you to the ends of the world. All right. I'm gonna have some tea. A lot of my friends have been streaming concerts lately, and you know, I don't want to call anyone out by name, but there is one couple who probably drank a fifth of whiskey during one of the concerts, and they're still vertical, so. I have to stick with this. Otherwise, if I have half a drink, I can't find any of the frets whatsoever. Hard enough to remember the lyrics without some chemical influence. Let's do another old folk song. One second. Actually, I'm gonna do something else first. I want to do 2 slow songs in a row. So I'm going to do another original. It's called "Ringing His Bell." This was also from Fall 2014. Not one of the ones that I actually released on record. But a lot of the songs that the band's been playing for the last 5 years has come from the 2013 and 2014 stuff, and eventually one day we will manage to record more of them with the full bands so that they're releasable to the public. But I was not any good whatsoever at recording at the time, and recording on my own at the time, and I didn't pay someone obviously for just doing demo recordings, but very much look forward to releasing some of them at some point in the future. As I said, I really miss playing with the band, but I'll do my best with this one. I think we need to use this guitar for this. Get a little more bass in. It's a little funky. In and out of reverie, what will be will never be. And in his mind he's 13. He's a king and she's a queen. And they roll on. Down the hill to Mary Street, and on his handlebars his girl, sunlight in her curls, and she's ringing his bell. She's a hard act to follow. It's today and it's tomorrow. They're waist deep in the water. She's a queen and he's a pauper. They roll on, da-da-da-da-da, down the hill to the stream, and their fingers laced between, sunlight on her skin, and she's ringing his bell. Concentrate on the moment. Concentrate on the moment. Be a child at play. In and out of reverie. What will be will never be. And in his mind he's 13. He's a king and she's a queen. They roll on, da-da-da-da-da, down the hill to Mary Street. And on his handlebars this girl, sunlight in her curls, and she's ringing his bell. They roll on, so now I'll do an old folk song. This is usually done a cappella, but I like it with a little bit of guitar. This is my protection. It shields me from all sorts of mistakes and embarrassing singing. So I learned this from Doc Watson, but honestly, the best version I've ever heard is by Rhiannon Giddens. I will do my best to do Doc Watson's version because I cannot sing like her. But it's called Pretty Sorrow, S-A-R-O. It's the name of a person, Sarah. And it references the lyrics are a little bit messy, but it's someone who emigrates from presumably Ireland during after the potato famine. Even though the first line is sometimes sung as "When I left my country in 1845," it's probably actually 1849 or something like that. But the song contains verses that are older, particularly the last verse I'm going to do. I actually recorded a completely different song that uses almost an identical verse. Something that people used to do quite a bit more often when you used to be able to just rip off other people's lyrics willy-nilly. I don't know. I'm a believer in free culture, though. I kind of wish that we all did that a little bit more. When I came to this country in 1849, then I thought myself lucky for to be alive. sweeter or fairer, pretty sour home than me. Pretty sorrow, likewise my mother too. I'm starting for to ramble this country all through, and when I get weary, I'll sit down and weep and think on pretty sorrow wherever I sleep. Well, it's not the long journey I'm a-dreading for to go, nor the country I'm leaving, all the debts that I owe. There's just one thing that grieves me and troubles my mind, and it's leaving my darling pretty sorrow behind. Oh, if I was a poet and could write a fine hand, I'd write my love a letter she'd long understand, and I'd send it by the waters where the owls overflow, and I'll think on pretty sorrow wherever I go. So my sister is asking where the tip jar is. There's no tip jar. I'll put this in the chat too. There are, however, a bunch of links to local musicians who are full-time musicians who cannot gig right now, and they're local to Baltimore. If you are feeling inspired to spend money, please consider buying one of their albums. Many of them are pay what you want, but I checked. All the ones that I put in the video description are people that I've literally bought albums from within the last week. It is not an exhaustive list. There are plenty of other musicians who I greatly love and admire in Baltimore who are not on this list, but all of them are fantastic musicians. I'm gonna do a local cover next. It's not from one of them. I did practice a Letitia Van Sant song that I may get up the courage to do before the end of the show, but please, if you want to buy something or tip me, please consider going to those musicians and maybe just buying a song or two to help support them. So I'll put this in the chat too. My job was not interrupted by the quarantine, so I am luckier than many people. We hit Great Depression levels of unemployment this week, and who knows how long this is going to last, but it's particularly hard on service workers and of course anybody who relies on actually their physical presence somewhere. So on that depressing note, let's find a song that is even more depressing, so that we can forget all our troubles. And this is an original of mine from 2015. I did actually release this one, but it's called "Oh Brother, Ain't It Hard." It was bacon and eggs every Sunday morning till the lock got changed without warning. And it's hard to hear the sound of the water when you drown. It's hard to hear a storm rolling in. Oh, brother, ain't it hard when you haven't got a dime? Ain't it hard every day? She ain't mine. Ain't it hard, oh brother? Oh, brother, ain't it hard? Used to call her up and take her out dancing, but what used to be don't mean a damn thing. And it's hard to hear the sound of the water when you drown. Hard to hear a storm rolling in. Oh, brother, ain't it hard when you haven't got a dollar? Ain't it hard every day to feel small? Ain't it hard, oh brother? Oh brother, ain't it hard? I'm gonna find myself sailing one morning, slipping to the water from the landing. It ain't hard to hear the water when you're not afraid to sink, but it's still hard to hear a storm rolling in. Oh, brother, ain't it hard, all this trouble and woe? Ain't it hard every day to let it go? Ain't it hard, oh brother? Oh brother, ain't it hard? Ain't it hard, oh brother, ain't it hard? Right. Let's do a more recent song. I put out a Midway Fair album called Monsters last year. It was actually a bunch of demos that I had recorded for the band that were produced a little better than most demos, but I did kind of get a little embarrassed about releasing songs that I had recorded myself. Most of our records have been recorded by Chris Freeland at Beat Baby Studios, and he, I
I mean, he does a lot more than just, you know, set up microphones and hit play for us. He's very much co-producer level of advice to me. So part of the reason I really would like to get back into the studio with the band is just to work with Chris again. But I needed to put something out. I'd been sitting on these songs, some of them since 2013. So I just wanted to get some of them into the world. This one is called Somewhere Between. Another rather depressing song, but it's about a musician who goes off and does not do particularly well, and really just gets by, and he doesn't have a home life anymore. He tried to have one and it didn't work out, but near the end of the song he runs into someone in a bar who has a, let's say, skewed perception of what his life is like.
I was in Asheville, I had everything I needed in the world. She had marmalade lips and pretty Madonna curls. But I came home too late, maybe one too many times. She said I fit her just one too many lines. We are all somewhere between nowhere and here, just along for the ride, never the one with your hands on the wheel. She said, turn down your wheels, boy, and I will be your home. And anywhere you rest will be a place to rest your bones. But anywhere I've been is no place to raise a kid. And a family's another stupid thing I did. Never the one with your hands on the wheel. When I met a friend in town from years ago last night. Said he was surprised to see me back around. Said he'd wished he'd traveled all his life like me. So I told him what I am to bring him down. 20 years living out of suitcases, giving it a go. Could have been 100 more and I'd have just as much to show. Making less than you can eat on, drinking what you've earned. I guess I came from nothing and to nothing I've returned. We are all somewhere between nowhere and here, just along for the ride, never the one with your hands on the wheel. Never the one with your hands on the wheel.
This is a love song between an Aborigine and a meteorite.
distant star, and a fusion reaction in the engine for your part. And I was tired of the dark, and I was hungry and poor, an animal desperate to stay warm. Do we rhyme? Are we together? Well, not all the time, but more often than never. Oh, 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 oh. And I put faith in my feet and 1,000 miles to bear. There was storm in the silence and a fire in the air, and the August sky was streaked with my grandmother's hair, and you were drowned in the unknown. Do we rhyme? Are we together? Well, not all the time, but more often than never. Oh, 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 oh. Now sometimes we talk despite the light years between, about the pride of lions and the fears of the weak. And even in the daytime I could keep you first to the right to get home. There was no moment of panic, nor injuring words, no discord, confusion, or imperfect thirds. And I tried to keep you close, but you kept falling away, and everything burns away. Everything burns away. Everything burns away. Everything burns away someday.
I'm doing an old pop song. Did this on the practice the other day. Smokey Robinson is really an outrageously good songwriter. Just gonna say.
People say I'm the life of the party, 'cause I tell a joke or two. Although I might be laughing loud and hearty, deep inside I'm blue. So take a good look at my face. You'll see my smile looks out of place. If you look closer, it's easy to trace the tracks of my tears. Oh, 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 I need you. Well, since you left me, when you see me with another girl, seeming like I'm having fun. Although she might be cute, she's just a substitute, 'cause you're the permanent one. So take a good look at my face. You'll see my smile looks out of place. If you look closer, it's easy to trace the tracks of my tears. Oh, 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 I need you. Outside I'm masquerading, inside my hope is fading. Just a cloud, oh yeah, since you put me
Yeah, I'll probably have to clip that out of the replay, so I don't get copyright issues. Put new strings on this right before the concert, so we're gonna have to put up with the tuning song again. Hope everyone's doing all right. It's a little weird that I have to talk to people who can't talk right back to me, except 30 seconds later. So there is a delay on this, because my internet is bad. It's very bad. It seems like it's good, right up until you try to use it. Tuning. Ooh, okay. So I'm gonna do one of the few political songs I've written. I wrote this back in 2015 when I had a somewhat low opinion of American politics, and things have not improved. It's about the workers' revolts in Europe in the 1800s, which we don't really get taught about that in school here in the United States, but in Europe they're immensely important. But among other things, they led to the fall of the last French king, who by all accounts wasn't terrible, but and the installation of a third Napoleon. They did not learn the first two times around. So it's told from the perspective of a very old revolutionary who participated in the French Revolution, explaining why he won't join in with some new atrocities. So it seems our people have at last grown civil. Last revolt, the streets were running red. And I suppose it could be worse than barricades and riots. And this time he let the king keep his head. I'd have fought the good fight in that hopeful July, in my youth when they marched on the Bastille. And every generation invents its future in the past, but the old learn that time becomes a wheel. Allons enfants, alas that you're still children. I think I've had enough of these wars. There are many ways to end a revolution, my friends. You can live if you lay down your swords. Freedom, please don't think that I don't. But soon enough someone has to leave. And if you pull out the keystone and the frame falls apart, and freedom's no good to the deceased. Remember your brothers, the Italians in the Piedmont. You deny that they're brothers, but they are. And how many fought for money, and how many for a vote, despite correcting your flaws? Allons enfants, alas that you're still children. I think I've had enough of these wars. There are many ways to end a revolution,
friends. You can live if you lay down your swords. For what? It's Emperor Napoleon again. Would you possibly think that we're any better off? Even you must see that nothing here has changed. What you see now is victory, the mighty can abide. Their patience is your hangman's rope. I'm sorry if you wanted encouragement and cheers, but it's decades since I'd any cause to hope. The law's on fun, alas that you're still children. I think I've had enough of these wars. There are many ways to end a revolution, my friends. You can live if you lay down your sword. Okay, I got a few more songs. I'm going to thank everyone for stopping by, putting up with the technical difficulties at the beginning. I will give this another shot in the future. I've learned a little bit about how it works this time, so hopefully the next announcement will be less confusing. But let's do. I've actually got a set list in front of me, and I can't play all of it. Just deciding which songs I want to end with here. Let's do a song about pirates. Oh wait, that's a song about crows. Let's do a song about pirates. Yeah. You can see why I got confused. Well, I signed on a sail on a brigantine, a fisherman on the Maid of Orleans, from Bristol to Conception Bay, to its final rest near the harbor's grace. And the chilly winds blowing on the quay, and a red sun's in the east. Our captain's buried in the icy sea. He lies asleep 5 fathoms deep. An honest man, with an honest face with an iron hand, and a refugee from the Eton press gave his hand at the rest to pay instead. And the chilly winds blowing on the quay, and a red sun's in the east. Our captain's buried in the icy sea. He lies asleep 5 fathoms deep. Bonny chance of the Maritimes was a devil's stone on a captain's side, and we paid our gold for 7 years to the fallen prize of the privateers. And the chilly winds blowing on the key, and a red sun's in the east. Our captain's buried in the icy sea, lies asleep 5 fathoms deep. Face but an iron man, and a refugee from the evening press gave his hand to the rest to pay instead. Well, I sailed with him to all fishing nets, but our captain aimed to return the debt. So he fired his gun at the St. George Cross, and was from his pride that the maid was lost. Chilly winds blowing on the key, and a red sun's in the east. Our captain's buried in the icy sea, he lies asleep 5 fathoms deep. He lies asleep 5 fathoms deep. Then eating ships round the Maida ground, and they cut our nets and we were tied and bound. Hung our captain bare from the martingale, wrapped his frozen body in the mainmast sail. And the chilly winds blowing on the key, and the red sun's in the east. Our captain's buried in the icy sea, he lies asleep 5 fathoms deep. He lies asleep 5 fathoms deep. Blowing on the key, and a red sun's in the east. Our captain's buried in the icy sea, he lies asleep 5 fathoms deep. He lies asleep 5 fathoms deep. All right, so 2 more songs. I'm going to do a cover. It's a local cover by a friend. Put my feet in my socks, I put my socks in my shoes, I put my shoes on the solid ground. I put my head on straight and then I get up and walk around. Well, these are brittle bones and this filthy skin, it's just a haunted house that I'm living in. And one of these days I'm gonna leave it all behind. Skin and bone, skin and bone, 4 flimsy limbs all alone. Well, I'm a ghost inside this skin, oh, skin and bone. Well, I pay my dues to the TV man, I pay my phone bill and my rent. I pay my tolls on the freeway and give the rest to the government. Well, this money, it's like a no-good girl. You know you love her, but she lets you down. Well, they don't and they don't take credit. No, none of that's accepted or where I'm bound. Skin and bone, skin and bone. For flimsy limbs all alone, I'm a ghost inside this skin. Oh, skin and bone. Skin and bone, skin and bone. From the soul on my way home, I'm a ghost inside this skin. No, skin and bone. Now maybe there's a Lord above and there might be a hell below. Amen. And there might be somewhere in between, but for now I just don't know. Yeah, well there's just one thing I will ask my Lord when they lay me down in the soil. Won't you let me roam this earth a while? Once I shed this mortal coil, skin and bone, skin and bone. For flimsy limbs all alone, I'm a ghost inside this skin. Oh, skin and bone. Skin and bone, skin and bone. I'm a soul on my way home. Well, I'm a ghost inside this skin, no skin and.
All right, just got a song there. Katie and Joe have been doing a lot of live streaming. They actually have tip jars. I was getting to it. All right. It's gonna be my last song. Despite having no acoustic guitar on the recording of Don Quixote, it was written on this guitar, and so figure it's a good way to end. I want to thank everyone for sticking around and for commenting. This will be archived. If you're watching this on the archive, this was live. Only one of you can actually take advantage of the opposite one of those. If you're watching this in the future, you cannot go back into the past. We're still working on that. 1, 2.
Maybe we were wrong about my misspent youth, on a terrible horse and some worn out boots. But I've still got my armor and I've still got my pride. Maybe not so much of either. And maybe we were wrong about doing no harm, 'cause I rode him to death instead of laying down my arms. But I was too old, maybe you were a fool, maybe we were both just cowards. And hallelujah, hey, what can we do? Hallelujah, thank God I've still got a use. And if she were as real as she's insubstantial, everything could still go the way I planned it all, and I'd still like to lay her down in my bed, but my body's too old to hold her. And I wouldn't have even cared if she didn't exist, if you hadn't rolled your eyes or just once raised your fists. And every time I talked about her, like she was somewhere, you forgot what it was like to suffer. And Dulcinea, hey, why won't you call Dulcinea? You heard the worst of all. Sancho, hey kid, maybe it's for the best. I mean, deception isn't really so much of a crime. Don't act like you got fed up with all of the lies. And there are worse things in this world than heroes to despise. We can't really tell the difference if we're not infinitely wise, but a certain kind of truth says that no one really dies. If I'm gonna go now, you better start saying your goodbyes. So come on, admit that it was worth it. Come on, admit that it was worth it.